Hey lovelies, thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of the Evolve Mindset. Today I want to talk about a guide, how to deepen our sexual connection, how to deepen our sexual intimacy. Yep, sex. We're talking about it, and I really think this should be spoken to more. Like, sex is such an important role in our life. Like, it's how we express our love to our partner. It's how we experience pleasure, how we really are able to just be with our bodies with someone else. It's so magical. And like, we just don't talk about it enough. So here we are, like, and we don't talk about it enough. How do we deepen that intimacy? So this is what I want to speak on today, and I'm just going to get right into it. So my first point would be to deepen that intimacy with yourself. Yep, I said it. You either knew it was going to go there or you didn't know it was going to go there. And what I mean by that, like, deepening the intimacy with yourself, like, do you know who you are? Because if you don't know who you are, that's going to reflect back on the people in your life, and you're just not going to have that connection. You're just never going to be able to reach those deeper intimacy levels. And like, are you uncertain about something? Are you afraid to make a leap in life? Are you just not safe? You find that the relationships in your life, they're all going to reflect back to you exactly what it is inside of you. So it's really it's helpful. Those triggering moments you find in a lover, those triggering moments you find in that Karen out there, if it bothers you so much, like, can you look back at yourself? Can you bring it back to the self and ask, why does this bother me? Where is this coming from? How do I evolve from this? Those are really the huge moments, huge light bulb moments we can come across into really understanding and learning more about the self. I see triggers all the time, and I'm so grateful for them for when they come. Whether it be someone commenting something on Instagram, or seeing someone out in my day job or wherever it would be, and just wishing I was either there, or just something in them was just not right. Can I bring that back to myself? Can you bring that back to yourself and ask, what does this mean? Why do I feel that? And you'll find a lot. Trust me. I just invite you all to try this. The next time you see someone triggering you, just question it and kind of really look back to yourself and see where that came from. And that'll really be the starting point or a continuation, wherever you are in your current path and journey and spiritual path. It'll really help you to dive deeper, build that intimacy with yourself, furthering your understanding. Brings me to my next point now. Safety. Feeling safe in your relationship. And a way to build on that safety is with trust. And the way to build on that trust is setting boundaries. Do you know the boundaries? Do you know what a boundary is? That being said, a boundary would be simply something as simple as telling your partner, no, I don't like that. Or, no, I don't want that. Or just saying something that just doesn't resonate with you. It could be anything. Do you find that you're giving a lot in your relationship? Are you the one who's always doing things and You're not really getting any help or anything. You're not receiving anything back. Can you lay those boundaries out and tell your partner, tell your friends, tell your loved ones, your parents, whoever, because these boundaries are so important. They're going to keep you safe. They're going to keep you happy. They're going to keep you not burnt out. So can you lay those boundaries? And if they're not there, you're going to find that you attract people with unconscious people, with those ego desires in your life. They're just going to project them on you, and they're going to keep grabbing and keep pushing, and you're going to keep crossing those boundaries that you didn't lay. So that's why it's important to lay them, and you can push out all those projections and all those desires that you don't want. But if you don't lay them out, how is anyone going to know? Like, those lines are still going to get crossed because they don't exist. So it's important to build on those boundaries and speak your truth. So crucial. I am so guilty in my past relationships of not laying any boundaries. And I was in multiple abusive relationships back to back because I didn't lay any boundaries. I was allowing the man I chose in my life to abuse me physically, mentally. I was allowing the men in my life to take all my money and drain my bank account to $0. I was allowing the men in my life to steal my TV and sell it for crack. I was allowing the men in my life to just use me like a doormat. So if you don't lay those boundaries, people are just going to walk all over you like a doormat. Lay that boundary. Trust me, it will be a life changer. And when you lay those boundaries, it is so important to stand behind them. Stand behind them. Don't become that doormat like me. Please, please, you deserve so much more. I deserve so much more. We all do. So speak your truth. You deserve safety. You deserve love. You deserve all the abundance in this life. Know your boundaries. Now my next point. And a lot of these answers are really only going to spark when you go back to that first point and build that intimacy with yourself. So now coming back to my next point here. Tell people how you want to be loved. Like, how do you want to be loved? Do you know how you want to be loved? And that's where that building that intimacy with yourself comes into play. Like, you may think you know how you want to be loved, and if you're not happy in your current relationship, if you're finding the relationships in your life are just lacking in some kind of way, ask yourself, how do you want to be loved? If you're not getting what it is you think you want, a lot of the time people can always go off and list a million things about what they don't want. But can you actually list the things that you do want? So how do you want to be loved? I actually, right before I met my current partner, I made a list of very superficial things that I wanted and things that I didn't want, but mainly the things that I did want. And he magically poofed out of nowhere. I manifested my current partner, and that's just where it comes into play. Like, how do you want to be loved? Because if you don't know, the universe is gonna poof someone into your existence, is to what they thought maybe you wanted, because you didn't even know what you wanted. So you're going to have this unknown mystery box pop into your life, and if you don't like it, well, you didn't really ask for anything either. So just really ask yourself, how do you want to be loved? It's so important. And communicate it clearly with your partner. Communicate with them. Tell them how you like it. Tell them how you want it. If you don't tell them, how do they know? So communicate to them clearly how you want to be loved. Now, another really important point I want to make across is our presence. Being present with our partner, being present having sex, being present doing anything with another human being is a gift. Our presence is a gift. Your presence is a gift. And the intimacy that we can uncover in the present moment, that is really the only time intimacy exists in this present now moment. So I want you to imagine, I want you guys to be that conscious leader in your relationships. That conscious leader, and holding that space and being present. Can you ask your partner, hey babe, how are you? Can you ask them, hey love, how are you feeling? And then in that moment, can you hold your absolute presence when they respond to you? No thinking about, okay, what am I going to do next? Not even thinking about what you're going to say next. Because you find that a lot with people where, and I'm guilty of doing this too sometimes, and this is something that I'm really working on trying not to do. And that's when I'm asking the question, and then this person is replying in speaking, and in speaking they're kind of trying to say the next word, and they're kind of tripping over the word, and then we blurt out the next word for them because we want to guess what the word they're going to say. That's not being present. Being present is just being still and letting them find the word for themselves. We may be able to finish that word, but it may not be the way that they would have finished it, which would lead them to trip up and maybe not say what they really wanted to say. So be present. And then in that sexual act, also, don't think about what you're going to be doing next, because you're going to miss out on all the sensations in that intimacy, and that delicate, quiet stillness that you share with that other body. Don't think about the kids in the next room. Don't think about what you did earlier in the day or whatever it is you're thinking about, because as a woman, I know we think about a lot of different things in that moment. I'm definitely guilty of it. So be present, and that intimacy will break through. And sharing intentional time together, like going for a walk or having dinner together, and just being present. Because the divine feminine, we can tell the moment our partner isn't present any longer. We can tell when their mind wanders. We can tell, obviously, their phone in their face. But when we feel that other person is right there with us for every word, for every movement in the body, that intimacy just heightens. And now my next point. Ask your partner how they want to be loved. Just like you'll tell them how you want to be loved. ask them how they want to be loved. And when they reply, obviously be present, but listen and be present without any judgment. Because a lot of the time, we're afraid to share how we want to be loved because we're afraid of that judgment and that shame that we would have felt from the mother or the father or the teacher or whoever it was in our life that told us that love can't look that way, or we shouldn't love someone that way, or no, don't do that, don't touch that, that's not supposed to feel good, or whatever it is we were told when we were growing up. Don't project that on them. Don't put that shame that you felt on them. No judgments. Just listen. Whatever comes up is beautiful. It's not right, it's not wrong, it just is. And with the space you hold with your lover, or your friend, or your partner, whoever it is, it builds a safety together. And it builds a trust. And it deepens that intimacy to a new, beautiful level. There's nothing like sharing a desire that you're afraid to share with someone and not having any judgment and just letting it out and being heard for that, whatever that is you felt, and the shame that you were holding with it, and just letting it be free and letting it be out there in the universe and being said. There's nothing more beautiful than that, and just letting it out. So just remember, ask your partner, how do they want to be loved? And love them in that moment of authenticity. And now my last point, and this one gets a little overlooked, mostly maybe because the understanding, a lot of people do understand it, and it's understanding your sexual polarity in the feminine and the masculine. Really knowing where you're sitting with your feminine, your masculine energies. And these polarities, I go into really deeply with my one-on-one clients and helping them understand where they are and how to maneuver it and how to create that sexual polarity with their partners. But for simplicity's sake, I am just going to explain how this works. So with the feminine and the masculine, I can't stress this enough, but as a female, I have both feminine and masculine energies. And same with the men. They have both masculine and feminine energies. It doesn't matter. We have both. It doesn't matter male, female, non-binary, however you resonate. We all have feminine and masculine energies. Now, the way it works with our sexual attraction and the relationships in our life, if two people in a relationship are both heavily in their masculine, it's going to look like a magnet with two positives or the two of the same side, and it's just polarizing each other, and as much as you try to stick those two magnets together, they just bounce off. Stick, bounce. And you can never get them to stick. Now, if you're able to work with that feminine and that masculine energy in both entities, in both your with either partner, and you can get them to work just right, that sexual connection, that energy, that attraction is electric. And they just come together in a beautiful, magical way. So understanding your feminine and masculine energies. Now, there's different ways you can cultivate that. The masculine energy is very much being a present. And then the female energy is very much an embodiment. You can think of it like the masculine energy would be like a glass cup. The glass itself is going to hold the water or the liquid that goes inside of it. And that water, that liquid that goes inside of that, that's the feminine energy. You can think of it like that. Or think of like a river. The river bank, that's the masculine energy. And the river itself, flowing, and the currents, the wild current, and the masculine energy is the banks, the side that holds it all. They go together. So these are some. So this is how I would explain to anyone really a clear way to guide you into how to deepen your sexual intimacy and just deepen relationships altogether. It's something that I was craving for a very long time, and once I learned how, like, my relationships have now just been grown into just beautiful connections. And the sex and the self-pleasure to new heights. So thank you everyone for listening today. I appreciate you all, and I love you all. Until the next time. These my dollars make it hurt.